Prudence, so beautiful to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me, and a very good afternoon to the listeners as well.
I see you got the memo on the T-shirt.
On the T-shirt, yes.
I love this topic, reading, especially when it involves children, and I think that is the big sort of themes around the work of Nalibali. But for those that haven't heard of Nalibali, talk to us about the organization and the work.
Thank you so much, it's again. So Nalibali is an organization who, as an organization, we work towards sparking a love for reading in children. We run a national Reading for Enjoyment campaign, where through the campaign we create accessibility to resources in all official languages. We also ensure that we create spaces and platforms where children, families, communities, schools, ECDs can come together and engage in the act of reading. We provide training, capacity building for parents in identifying ways that they can integrate reading literacy within the home. You know, I always make the example, say, back then when we used to grow up, our grandmothers used to tell us stories, back home. And that tradition has been lost within the home, that culture. So as an organization, our work really centers around rebuilding that culture, creating accessibility to stories, especially within the mother language.
Okay, beautiful work. I want us to step into what you just mentioned around giving capacity and capacity building tools for parents, because that's very important. Access to libraries, access to books is a huge challenge. Brand new books are very expensive in this country. So let's talk about that issue in your capacity building efforts, as it were.
Thank you so much. So our capacity building stretches, as an organization, maybe let me track back a bit. As an organization, our focus is on ensuring that we provide capacity building for the parents in the communities, for our caregivers within the communities, for our ECD practitioners, as well as for our educators in schools. And the reason why we do this is because, as you've mentioned, the accessibility to reading resources is a challenge, especially for our grassroots communities. And through our programs, our teams across all provinces in the country go into the communities and they train parents. And through the training that they provide, they're able to assist them in identifying how can they integrate reading and build that culture within the home. We also provide resources. So we have our anthology, which we've just actually redeveloped and redesigned into a smaller set of books that we also distribute. And these are all accessible free of charge to communities. And we have what we call our reading supplement, which is our newspaper supplement, that also has about 4 stories in it. Children can do a cutout and keep, and they can actually create their own story from it, their own storybook. And through these resources, we are making it accessible for homes, we're making it accessible for ECDs, and we're making it accessible for the educators in schools as well. Because in most of our communities as well, we do not have the infrastructure of libraries. Right. So accessibility to spaces such as a library, becomes a challenge for certain communities. And through this initiative, especially our reading clubs, our reading club model is one of our biggest drivers of creating spaces and accessibility for reading, literacy, and resources. And through those platforms, we are able to create accessibility to communities, as I've mentioned, to parents and caregivers, and also to ensure that even in the absence of the physical structure of a library, we are still able to access reading resources.
Man, because it's about community building as well. It's not just about the physical structure. So I love that there is a strong community building element to this between, Nalibali, between the community, the children, everyone that's involved. Very exciting. In studio with Prudence Erens, who is from Nalibali in her capacity as programs manager. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, 23rd of July for Hot Talk discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
We're 21 minutes into 3 p.m. Still in conversation with Prudence from Nalibali. We're talking about reading, the importance of reading, the importance of that as a part of a community building block, if you will, because the Department of Basic Education, together with the National Education Collaboration Trust and Nalibali Trust, marked World Read Aloud Day. And I'm very excited to see that it's now Read Aloud Month. Because, I mean, what are we going to do with one day? We need more than that. We need more than that. The importance of reading aloud, I know that is quite a big thing for Nalibali, because it's about hearing the words, it's about the expression, it's about, the language. And our languages are very diverse and very expressive. So reading aloud, important one.
Very important one. And I think, as an organization, the reason why we're also really pulling forces around reading aloud is because when you read aloud, you're able to hear yourself. And how much more even in your mother tongue. And with that, you are able to build understanding. You're able to really fully get and understand the story behind what is being read and what's being said. So really just delving deeper into understanding languages, and specifically, as you've mentioned, how diverse our languages are. When you hear yourself in your mother tongue, the learning becomes easier to adapt and to adopt. And looking at where we are as a country and how, we fought to ensure that mother tongue learning becomes an important part of who we are and what our children engage in within schools, within their communities, within their homes. We have made it a very big point as an organization to ensure that we create spaces where you can read aloud. In our activities, in our interventions, we teach how to read aloud, because we understand the importance of hearing yourself and fully being able to understand what is being read to you, what is being said to you. And this, flows over into every part of our lives, because when you're able to hear yourself, you're able to really get what is being communicated to you. And that for us is a very important element. And even through our World Read Aloud Day campaign, the campaign has been made such an important, or we've centered or put together the resources and, running and putting energy behind the campaign, because we understand the importance of reading aloud, and we understand the importance of bringing together people to ensure that we mobilize for people to be able to read aloud, because we understand the importance behind it, and we understand also what it does for, just the cognitive development for an individual.
Yes, there's so many other benefits. Self-expression, very important, because our little ones are not going to be little people forever. Yes. They're going to go out into the world, and being able to read and understand and comprehend and express yourself is so important. Nalibali, and your collaboration with the Department of Education, talk to us about how you're working together, especially in expanding on the idea of reading aloud, beyond just a day, but really extending it to an entire month to create awareness.
Thank you so much. Our collaboration with the Department of Basic Education and EDCT is really an important collaboration for us as an organization, because of the accessibility that it creates, into schools, and also to be able to kind of give input and insights into policy when it comes to reading, when it comes to literacy. Our collaboration for specifically around World Read Aloud Month, together we've set a target of what we want to achieve in terms of reading to children for the month of February. And over the years, we've always gone to exceed the target. We've set the target at 3.5 million, but then we exceed even past 4 million.
Stunning.
And together we are working towards mobilizing communities, mobilizing schools, mobilizing ECDs to pledge to read aloud to their children throughout the month of February. And I think what makes it so significant at the beginning of the year is because it sets the tone for what reading would look like, or literacy, engaging with the act of literacy would look like for the rest of the year. And through the collaboration, we have been able to, give insights and feed into the plans and the strategy for literacy across the board, from the Department of Basic Education at the higher office into our districts. And through our collaboration, we've really been able to do a lot with reaching the families, reaching the homes, reaching the children, and driving literacy at that level. So it's a very important collaboration for us, one that we value quite a lot.
It's so wonderful. As you're speaking, I'm actually just imagining how it's all unfolding, and it sounds so wholesome. And I think from a support level, I think supporting teachers in terms of, teaching children how to read and comprehend is very important. Maybe you can elaborate on the efforts of Nalibali in their support for teaching spaces and how your influence filters into those spaces as well.
So our collaboration, and I think this is what makes it even more amazing, what we've been able to achieve together with the Department of Basic Education and NECT is, as Nalibali, as I've mentioned in the beginning, our focus is really on capacitating and capacitating educators within the schools as well.
Yeah.
Our focus when capacitating the educator in the school is really around how do you build in reading activities into your teaching? How do you bring that out? And from a point of reading for enjoyment, building that love, making sure that children fall in love with reading so that they're able to really enjoy their learning even more. And through the training that we offer, we train educators across the country, ensuring that they're able to learn the intricacies when it comes to these activities that really draw learners in when it comes to reading. And we also support them through our other campaigns, one of them being Drop Everything and Read, which is also a big focus of the Department of Education, where they call it the DEAR period or the DAR period. And our teams go into the schools to demonstrate how you can utilize this DEAR period in building a love for reading and really bringing in activities that can get the children actively reading. And we also go as far as building what we call reading corners within the school, so that it's not just reading, when children sitting in their chairs and the teacher standing in front, but really creating that space which they can go to that has books, that has got the teacher sitting and the children sitting, and they can really connect and engage within reading activities in that space. And that's just some of what we do with the educators within the school.
Drop everything and read. That includes your phone. Drop it, put it down,
down.
And read an actual book. Read an actual book. Look, and I love that it's actual books, not Kindles or anything on a tablet, or it's an actual book with pages that you can page through and look at pictures and look at the words, and very important. And you mentioned the cognitive abilities, and all those things are so important. As I understand it, there's a primary school in Polokwane that was chosen to host the flagship celebration. Talk to us about that, and because we don't have much time, also maybe just elaborate on how we can all get involved, because this is such an exciting national inclusive campaign that you've been working on.
Yes. So again, with the Department of Basic Education, we ran their flagship, the flagship event, World Read Aloud Day, and we were in Polokwane. Very exciting day where we had the Minister of Basic Education and we had the MEC of Education in Limpopo. And, we were able to engage again within the storytelling. We were able to do reading. We were able to do multiple activities. And this is all aligned to our World Read Aloud Month campaign, where we are encouraging, members of the community worldwide to actually commit to and pledge to read to their child. As you mentioned previously, we just had it as a day, but a day is not enough. And hence we've, together with the Department of Basic Education, made it World Read Aloud Month, so that there's multiple opportunities to be able to read and to engage within reading activities. So this collaboration was particularly important to us because of, again, creating access to stories and being more inclusive.
Right.
And the primary schools that we had over 15 primary schools come together on the day with children engaging in the reading activities that we had. And we also went to an ECD within the community where we had about 6 ECDs come together as well to be able to engage yet again in the story, A New Friend, which we developed together with the Sign Language Education Development, talking about inclusivity yet again, because the story is centered around a deaf learner, making a new friend, coming into the space of community, and again, using that as an opportunity to learn and exchange learning through language, as sign language is a language that it's been recognized as a language in South Africa. So for us, again, this was another opportunity created through our partnership to be able to have the flagship event in Limpopo. And it changes every year. So every year we go to a different province, again, making sure that we are not just exclusive to one language area. And this year our focus was on our Tshivenda, our Tsonga and our Sepedi languages, but mainly our sign language. Amazing event. Please go to our socials and see all of the pictures and see some of the videos. It'll be really great. And I think just as a call of action to everybody listening, please pledge to read to your children throughout this month. To pledge, you can visit our website, www.nalibali.org. You can visit our social media pages. We're Nalibali on all official social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to access a guide on how to pledge. And the story is also available for download. It's also available in the form of a video, should that be, the medium that you want to use to engage within the reading activity.
Gosh, I want to read for a living.
Please do.
It's such a beautiful website. Nalibali.org, growing the love for stories and reading. Nalibali, here's the story.
Yes,
It's closer.
Yes.
Okay. Prudence, thank you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to engage with you and to learn about how we can actually just be coherent people and read to the little ones and raise the nation together.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Nalibali on all the social media platforms so you can have a look at what's been happening. Figileli Mwati, so sorry we're late. Let's check in with sports.